what fight were you offered recently? I was offered, the rumblings were, at the time, Derek Lewis was about to be a free agent, fight Derek Lewis in bare knuckle MMA. The other one was Junior Dos Santos in bare knuckle MMA. Tough fights. LTD 1991. B, who is your favorite ex-employee and why? Casey. That's easy. Who do you dislike the most and why? I don't really dislike any of them. Trying to think over all the years.
I mean, there have been some assholes, but whatever.
Come to the territory. I don't even think about them. It's not that I dislike them. It's just it wasn't a fit. You know, they nothing to offer. It's all good. LTD 91 sub, big fan here from England, 10-year fan of Tony. Bums you have to see the numbers be not as good as they once were, but I still show up. Can't help point the downshift in viewership came after Bobby Lee Reddit bullshit. Can you walk us through how you came about the information that seemingly pointed to tigerbelly being a conspirator? What was given to you as advice to prove this? Are you misled by whom? What have you done different? Oh boy, LTD 991 is trying to create some headlines here. God, I wish I could throw this guy under the bus. I won't do it. I'll say this. None of it was my idea. I'll say that. None of it was my idea. I had no clue. Nor did I believe it was Bobby in any facet. And were you misled? Yes, majorly. What would you have done different? Not do it or even entertain it, you know? But what can you do? Scott Midgley, you have always spoken highly of Kimbo and still hang the picture in the studio. What was it about him that was so special to you? That he was so down to earth. Because like you guys, I just saw him from those YouTube videos in the backyard fights, and you don't really hear him talk. And when he does, it's super intense. I'm like, oh, this guy's going to be a fucking, I don't know, kind of big timer or, thinks his shit doesn't stink. And he was just so down to earth, so cool. He was just such a nice human being, man. He was awesome. And was like, I thought he'd be like, nah, fuck jiu-jitsu and wrestling, man. I'm all about boxing. He's like, dude, I need help. And like, he was very aware of what he needed, and it was just cool. Just a good dude.
He was like very soft-spoken too, right? When he actually talked normal.
Yeah, just cool. 86-0. What's good, fellas? If I was to make anything for the pod, such as song or merch idea, where would I send it to? I sent the Big Dick Bandit song to one of the emails. You might not have got it, or maybe y'all did. Fucked with it. I doubt that because I'm the GOAT. All right. Peace and love from the Fire and Kid Army General.
He's legit good, though. I remember this guy.
Yeah, just send it to the Fighter and the Kid shop at gmail.com, Bubba. Brendan, do you know comedian Sam Hyde? I do not. Michael Angela, did the Fire and Kid podcast really start on the Fox YouTube channel? Am I wrong, or did you guys do a few episodes before Fox and Evan the Body the Beard, you the Mansion? No, so did the podcast originally start on the Fox? No, the podcast originally started outside of Fox. That's how they found us, but we didn't do video. And then once we went over to Fox, we started to include, because at the time, there was no podcast on video. And then we were kind of one of the earlier podcasts to start doing it on video. And then we started doing video, but audio's always been king. So we were worried the video would take away from the audio, but Fox really wanted to do the video, so we started doing video once we were on the Fox platform. But as far as audio goes, we had a bunch of episodes. I mean, that's why Fox bought us out originally, to bring us on board, because they saw all the content on the audio side. Victor Almanza, what's up with Nate Diaz bringing your name up on Theo's podcast? Y'all ever have beef? That answers. Yeah, they've had a bit of friction over the years. I like the guy, though. I have no beef with him. There's no issues. Chris says, another question I had is, how much better do you think Ronda would have matched up with the next gen of women? Holly Amanda Cyborg, if she went into the fights more like Khabib and just went and judoed her tits off the girls and only used strike as a tool to get the girls to the ground. That's kind of what she did, man. That's what she did when she first came on the scene. That's a tough list you have there. Holly Amanda Cyborg, those would be tough fights for Ronda.
Okay, so Schaub trashed Mark Harley, and then I think kind of blamed him for the Bobby Lee thing, but Schaub is 100% lying. First of all, he did the thing. He said it in any facet. He didn't believe it was Bobby Lee in any facet. People were telling Schaub it wasn't Bobby Lee, and he's like, "Nah, B, it's Bobby." Then him and Callan called Bobby Lee and threatened his career, and they said, "We'll go tell Joe Rogan," as if Bobby Lee would care in any way, shape, or form. I think people forget, like, how big Bobby Lee actually is. Just because, he's goofy, crazy Bobby Lee. You have to remember, Bill Burr once told a story about how much he looked up to Bobby Lee. And everybody was like, Bill Burr looks up to Bobby Lee. And Bill Burr had to explain he was on a network TV show in the 90s and in movies all throughout the 90s, all throughout. Like, Bobby Lee, relatively speaking, quote unquote, did make it in actual show business. He was on Mad TV. He was and still is in movies and stuff like that, like Harold and Kumar. Oh, you're like, that's always been Bobby Lee. Bobby Lee doesn't care if you go and tell Joe Rogan anything. Bobby Lee created his own universe and stuff like that. But the fact that Schaub is just going to lie and be like, now you have to remember, Schaub hired the hackers. All of this is on my channel. You can go look it up because Mark Harley exposed it all. The hacking team that discovered the email Robert Lee. And then they accused Bobby and Kalila of starting the Fighter and the Kid subreddit. Now, if I remember correctly, the Fighter and the Kid subreddit started out as a legitimate fan subreddit and then turned. So, is he trying to claim Bobby Lee was a fan and then turned? See, none of it made any sense, even when he was saying it. He accused Bobby Lee of creating the Fighter and the Kid subreddit. When that was created, it wasn't a hate sub. That's why they were almost able to buy one of the original moderators' accounts. Remember, Schaub tried buying an original moderator's account because that moderator was going to sell it, because that moderator was a fan who wasn't really into all the Schaub bashing, what the subreddit became into. So if Schaub was willing to cough up the dough, he might have actually sold it to that guy. But as always, Bappa just has to lie. I bet you soon, when he separates completely from Callan on the new Patreon during a new fan Q&A, when this comes up again, I bet you he just blames it all on Callan and be like, "Hey, Callan's the one who threatened him," and I bet you that's what ends up happening. But let me know your thoughts in the comments.